Jai Hind children, welcome back our next online class. In the previous class, we already discussed about how East India Company comes east. East India Company began trade in Bengal. How trade leads to battle, Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. How company official became nababs. In this class, we are discussing about how company rule expands, Tipu Sultan, Tiger of Mysore, war with Marathas, the claim to paramountcy, the doctrine of lapse, setting up of a new administration, the company's army. So dear children, keep watching the video carefully. The first topic is company rule expands. After the Battle of Buxar, that is in 1764, the company appointed residents in Indian states. The residents were the political or commercial agent, and their job was to serve the company. Through the residents, the company official began interfering in the internal affairs of Indian states. Sometimes the company forced the states into a subsidiary alliance. According to the terms of this alliance, Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed forces. They were to be protected by the company through they had to pay huge amount for this protection. If Indian rulers failed to make these payments, a part of their territory was to be taken away by the company. The next topic is what is the meaning of subsidiary alliance or subsidiary forces. The subsidiary alliance system was a method started by Lord Wellesley to subjugate Indian powers without spending money on fighting wars. According to this system, an Indian ruler who felt threatened by external attacks and internal revolt could take help from the English and enter into an alliance or partnership with them. The English would then take the responsibility of protecting the ruler. That means the subsidiary alliance system or subsidiary forces. The next main topic is Tipu Sultan. He is otherwise known as the Tiger of Mysore. Mysore had grown in strength under the leadership of powerful rulers like Hyder Ali. He ruled from 1761 to 1782, and his famous son Tipu Sultan. He ruled from 1782 to 1799. In 1785, Tipu Sultan stopped the export of sandalwood, pepper and cardamom through the ports of his kingdom and disallowed a local merchant from trading with the company. He maintained a close relationship between the French in India and modernized his army with their help. 4 wars were fought between Britishers and Mysore, and were known as the Anglo-Mysore War. The first war happened in the year 1767 to 1769. The second war is 1780 to 1784. The third war is 1790 to 1792, and the last one is 1799. In 1799, the Britishers won the battle of Srirangapatnam against Mysore. Tipu Sultan was killed defending his capital at Srirangapatnam. The next topic is Anglo-Maratha War or War with the Marathas. After the defeat in the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761, the Marathas were divided into many states under different chiefs. Chief means Sardars, belonging to dynasties such as Scindia, Holkar, Gaikwad and Bonphlay. These chiefs were held together in a confederacy under a Peshwa. Peshwa means principal minister. There are 4 Anglo-Maratha wars were fought between the Marathas and the company. The first war was ended in 1782 with the Treaty of Salbai. There was no clear victor. The second Anglo-Maratha War was happened in 1803 to 1805, resulting in the British gaining Orissa and the territories north of the Yamuna River, including Agra and Delhi. The third Anglo-Maratha War of 1817 to 1819 crushed Maratha power. The Peshwa was removed and company now had complete control over the territories south of the Vindhyas.
Conquest of the Marathas. You will be able to describe how the Maratha Empire came under the company rule. The Maratha Empire extended over most of the Indian territory in the 18th century. It was divided into small states ruled by different chiefs. These chiefs, called Sardars, were responsible for the administration, finance and defense of the regions under their rule. They belonged to different dynasties, and members of the same dynasty became the subsequent chiefs. Some of the famous dynasties of the Maratha Empire were the Scindia, Holkar, Gaikwad and Bhonsle clans. These Sardars were held together in alliance by a principal minister called the Peshwa. The Sardars acted on the orders of the Peshwa, who was the real administrative and defense head of the Maratha Empire. Some of the famous Sardars were Mahadji Scindia and Nana Fadnis, who were also brave soldiers. It took the East India Company 3 wars to conquer the Marathas. The First War took place in 1782 and ended with the Treaty of Salbai with no clear victory. The Second War was fought from 1803 to 1805, after which the company gained Odisha and the territories north of the Yamuna, including Agra and Delhi. The Third War between the British and the Marathas took place between 1817 and 1819. It was after this war that the British gained complete control over the remaining Maratha Empire, which included the territories south of the Vindhyas. The Peshwa was ousted and sent away to Bittur with a pension. We have learnt that the First Anglo-Maratha War in 1782 AD ended with the Treaty of Salbai with no clear victor. The Second War, fought from 1803 to 1805, ended with the company gaining Odisha and the territories north of the Yamuna, including Agra and Delhi. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, fought from 1817 to 1819, resulted in the British completely taking over the entire Maratha Empire, including the territories south of the Vindhyas.
The next topic is the claim to paramountcy. Under Lord Hastings, he was one of the Governor General from 1813 to 1823. A new policy of paramountcy was initiated. Paramountcy means supreme power or supreme authority. That means East India Company was initiated, which claimed its power was greater than that of Indian states. In order to protect its interests, paramountcy was justified in annexing or threatening to annex any Indian kingdom. In the late 1830s, the East India Company became worried about Russia, as Russia might expand across Asia and enter India from the northwest. They fought a prolonged war with Afghanistan between 1838 and 1842 and established indirect company rule there. Sindh was taken over in 1843. After the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in 1839, two prolonged wars were fought with the Sikh kingdom, and in 1849, Punjab was annexed. The next topic is the Doctrine of Lapse. Lord Dalhousie, the Governor General from 1848 to 1856, devised a policy that came to be known as the Doctrine of Lapse. It declared that if any Indian ruler died without a male heir, his kingdom would lapse. That is, became a part of company territory. Many kingdoms were annexed under this rule. Satara in 1848, Sambalpur in 1850, Udaipur in 1852, Nagpur in 1853, Jhansi in 1854 and Oudh in 1856. The next topic is setting up a new administration. Dear student, please take your textbook, page number 21. I will say some more points, so you should underline that points in your textbook. Okay. Warren Hastings, Governor General from 1773 to 1785, played a significant role in the expansion of company power. British territories were broadly divided into administrative units called presidencies. So what is presidencies? The British territories. There were 3 presidencies. The first one is Bengal, the second one is Madras, and third one is Bombay. So there are 3 main presidencies in the British territories. Each was ruled by a governor, and the supreme head of the administration was the Governor General. So each presidency was ruled by a Governor General. Okay. From 1772, a new system of justice was established. In which year a new system of justice was established? Yes, in 1772, a new system of justice was established. Each district has to have 2 courts. One a criminal court, other is a civil court. So there are 2 courts in each district. The criminal court is otherwise known as Faujidari Adalat. The civil court is otherwise known as Diwani Adalat. So don't forget the name. A criminal court is known as Faujidari Adalat. A civil court is known as Diwani Adalat. In civil court, Maulavis and Hindu Pandits interpreted Indian laws for the European district collectors. The criminal courts were still under a Qazi and a Mufti, but under the supervision of the collectors. A Qazi means a judge. A Mufti, a jurist of the Muslim community, responsible for expounding the law that the Qazi would administer. The collector's main job was to collect revenue and taxes and maintain law and order in his district with the help of judges, police officers, and dagas. So what's the main duty of a collector? His main duty was to collect revenue and taxes and maintain law and order. The next topic is the company army. From the 1820s, the cavalry requirement of the company's army declined because the British Empire was fighting in Burma, Afghanistan, and Egypt, where soldiers were armed with muskets and matchlocks. Muskets means a heavy gun used by infantry soldiers. Matchlock means an early type of gun in which the powder was ignited by a match. In the early 19th century, the British began to develop a uniform military culture. The soldiers were given European style training and were subjected to drill and discipline. The East India Company adopted the same method, which came to be known as the Sepoy Army. In the early 19th century, the British began to develop a uniform military culture. The last one is conclusion. The East India Company was transformed from a trading company to a territorial colonial power. By 1857, the company came to exercise direct rule over about 63% of the territory and 78% of the population of the Indian subcontinent. So dear children, these are the main topics from the chapter Trade to Territory. So please read the textbook carefully and prepare the notes.